Welcome back everyone. Today we'll be talking about the 9th chapter of Choujin X by Sui Ishida. But before we jump into this chapter, I would appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and left any criticisms you have for me or this channel in the comment section. Now, to start off, this chapter is titled Sinker Part 1 Grounder Boy, and it seems to be the first little story arc in this series as of right now. The chapter opens up with Tokio watching a baseball game on TV, the teams being Kaibashira Private High School versus Suru High, or Tokyo's school. We see that Azuma is up next to the bat and is making a comeback for Suru High after hitting the pitcher's 155-kilometer fastball, making the total score 4-5 with Kaibashira in the lead. After that, we pan out from a TV screen and see the two agents we met in the last chapter, who are watching the game and saying that Suru High doesn't have the right players, and that it would be different if they still had their ace from last year named Tezuya Shiozaki. The reason the team no longer had Shiozaki was because he turned into a Choujin in the middle of the Koshien tournament, which might be the game they're watching on TV. Either way, which is against the rules, as a Choujin cannot play against normal people. Then we cut to Tokio walking around Yamato Mori as he saw two wanted posters of the two agents we just saw earlier. The girl is named Ririka Umezawa, and she is the paper cutout Choujin. She is involved in many crimes, the two biggest being the Minami bank robbery, and that she was the mastermind behind a $100 million heist. The octopus Choujin is named Richard, but he also goes as Ricardo. Richard is a bodyguard for criminals, and he betrayed the Takagoro group, which was a large crime organization in Yamato. The key word being was, seeing as how he killed all the members of the group. We then see Kagomura arrive with Shiozaki as this character Mr. Sato wanted to see him, and that Shiozaki came in for his periodic evaluation. Kagomura tells Tokio that Mr. Sato, or Ichiro Sato as we learn his full name, is the #1 protege of Sandak. He also tells him that Shiozaki used to go to Suru High. Then Ellie runs up to Tokio and Kagomura as it seems that they'll be starting their classes apparently via watching a video about the fundamentals. For example, how to keep their powers in check and their dangers, as all powers come with dangers according to Kagomura. Next is Shiozaki answering some questions from Mr. Sato about his powers. Shiozaki says that he hasn't used them as he doesn't have anything to use them for, which might be a lie as we see later on. After the meeting, Shiozaki walks to the bus stop as he's spotted by Tokio. He asks Tokio if he is from Suru High. After Tokio responds, they both get on the bus and ignore each other until their destination. We then see Shiozaki arrive home and look at his two little siblings lying on the floor in a blanket. Then he gets a ping on his phone as a car is waiting for him outside. The guys in the car plus Shiozaki talk about the baseball game and anime until they arrive at a bank getting ready to rob it. The next morning, we heard how the Akazawa bank in Minami was robbed yesterday, and that a hole was discovered in the floor of the bank's vault. I don't know about you, but I personally think this hole was caused by Shiozaki's Choujin powers. Then, we see Tokio go to Yamato Mori to watch a video about how the law affects Choujins, as we learn that if a Choujin accidentally injures a normal person, they can be tried as a Choujin under normal human laws, or even under both sets of laws at the same time. As Tokio is leaving, Ellie asks Tokio to teach her how to use the phones, so she calls her grandpa. Tokio then asks Ellie if she has a card, seeing as how they can be used for calls and shopping, basically replacing regular money. Ellie answers saying she doesn't need one, as she doesn't expect to be in Yamato forever, and that it would be useless in Gaga. The two then talk about how Tokio doesn't have a dream, and how he should just be open about not having one. We then cut to Akisu Ward of Minami City as we see Shiozaki pick up one of Ririka's paper dogs and receive a tracking signal. Then Shiozaki starts wandering through what looks like an alleyway as we see him collapse a vending machine to get a drink because he doesn't seem to have a card and that it didn't take any cash. On the last page, Shiozaki opens up his can of soda, then all of a sudden he starts sweating as it seems that both Tokio and Ellie witnessed him collapsing the vending machine. With that being said, that's the end of this chapter of Choujin X. I have to say that I like where the story is going and how it seems that we're getting to the first story arc that isn't mainly set up. Finally. To me, it seems like this new character Shiozaki has some kind of gravity power, or that he can put a lot of pressure onto something, making it collapse or sink into itself. Assuming he made the hole in the vault, something that could help this little theory is how the chapter is titled Sinker Part 1 Grounder Boy, as Shiozaki could have the ability to ground and sink things. I also wonder why the two agents know about Shiozaki and what they're going to do now that he accidentally released a tracking signal. As always, peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.